What is going on, family? I appreciate you being here and I hope everybody is doing well. My name's MC, if this is our first time meeting. But again, thank you for tapping in. Today's topic, as you can see by the title, is just gonna be touching on our past and really that we should, in a way, forget our past. There's an art between things that we should cling on to and remember and hold on to, but additionally certain things that we should actually forget, kind of move past that tend to keep bringing us back, holding us down, keeping us in the same place that we were, instead of letting us essentially get past that, move on, grow, progress, and just get on to, a new season or a next chapter in life. As always, I like to kind of center the discussion or the topic around just a couple scriptures, and today's no different. There's just two verses that I wanted to touch on, and please feel free to read along if you want. I'll go ahead and throw them up on the screen as we go into it, but just a verse in Philippians and a verse in Isaiah. Should be a pretty quick one, but I do hope you guys end up taking something good away from this, and if not, just at least maybe challenge your perspective, your thought a little bit, or if you're somebody like me who struggles with holding on to things so intensely and so deeply in the past, things that kind of grip me to my soul, or past traumas, or just kind of things that happen, where it's like you really have a hard time pushing past it. Whether you're questioning yourself, questioning why me, why did this happen to me? Oh, that's just who I am, or that's what I deserved. It kind of bleeds into low self-esteem, low self-confidence, right? You think because bad stuff happened to you that, that essentially equates to your self-worth or your value as a human. And a lot of times, at least again, speaking for me personally, I hope you guys can relate, but if you're thinking about things in the past that kind of set you back or put you in a bad place, or just bad things that happened to you, generally what are the thoughts that come with that? When I start thinking about it, I tend to get a little anxious, right? Or maybe stress a little bit, or, kind of just put myself vividly back in a memory or a moment where it's something went wrong, something bad happened, or just, a troubling time in my past. And, again, it creates stress, it creates fear, it creates kind of anxiety and depression for me personally. Certain things will set me so far back, and it's I end up just sitting on the couch all day, because it's very, very defeating in some ways. But also too, there's a side of it where it's sometimes we think, oh, because I went through all of this stuff in my life, now my response to that is making my life or making my day as easy as possible to cope with that. So what do? We men, sit down, put on the TV, watch sports, play video games, eat whatever food we want, kick our feet up, maybe smoke, drink, whatever our flesh desires, honestly. We kind of feed into that and pour into that, because it's man, I went through all this stuff. Life was hard for me, so this is the way I cope with it. I get to do what I want now. That's what I overcame. I beat all that stuff. So this is me now. And ladies, for you, maybe you can insert some coping mechanisms as well. Binge watching movies, social media, going shopping. I don't know, it's different things for everybody. But essentially when we trap ourselves in the past, and that's all we start to think about is everything that we've overcome and went through, and everything, all the trials and tribulations, right? It's kind of we build up in ourselves this desire to just please whatever our mind or our flesh wants, because we overcame certain things. And I'll just address kind of that fine line there, because it is very important to remember our testimonies, to remember what God brought us through, and that what we've overcame, and sharing that with somebody is vital. You sharing what you overcame with somebody is what might plant a seed of hope in somebody's heart. Hearing what you went through, what you experienced to overcome that, and see that you're on the other side of it, that man, that person overcame all this, and they're still happy, and they're still positive, and they're still living this life for God, and the list could go on and on, right? Maybe you are that one example that somebody needs to hear your testimony and see you're actually living it out in the right way. So there's a very distinct difference there between sharing and kind of overcoming things and shedding light on what you've been through, what God's brought you through. But additionally, there's that other side of it that's kind of more self-harming. If we just keep that all to ourselves, or just kind of brag on, right, the hardships in our life and that what we've overcome, we tend to just want to spoil ourselves and not give credit to God, who really is the one who brought us through those situations and kept his arms around us. right? We just kind of put it all on us, like, I was done wrong. I had all this bad stuff happen to me, so now I get to do whatever I want. And that's maybe dumbing it down a little bit, but just to kind of summarize, right? You can see the two pathways and kind of which one leads to, a little bit more hope, a little bit more optimism, and something that can be beneficial to others versus taking it the second approach where, we kind of end up putting ourselves on a pedestal or even at the bottom, thinking like we're not worthy of anything because all this stuff happened to me. My life has been extremely difficult and I don't deserve anything better. That's all I've known my whole life. And believe me, man, like my heart breaks if you're in that boat where you kind of have those thoughts. And I just see it so often in my personal life, friends and, loved ones where it's like hardship has just continued to happen time and time again. And then it really affects somebody's self-esteem and the way that they view themselves. So with that said, it's kind of the foundation of today's video. Again, it'll be pretty brief, but just kind of wanted to make the distinction between remembering and sharing and loving and encouraging folks and planting seeds of hope from what we've overcome through our testimonies and what God's delivered us from and brought us through versus, in general, kind of putting ourselves and keeping ourselves at the center of the story and, essentially giving into our flesh whatever we want because life has been hard, because things have been difficult, essentially trying to just come against that, the spirits and the thoughts and the emotions that are circled around that, where it's like very low self-esteem, very low sense of self-worth. So here are the two scriptures. First one is in Philippians, it's chapter 3, verse 13. Forgive me too, I got just getting over a little bit of a cold, so I'm a little plugged up, but hopefully it's not too annoying. So this is Paul writing to the Philippians. He says in 13, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." It's just a beautiful parallel, and I think the wording is just incredible as well, right? Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. And I press onward toward the goal. If you're constantly just remembering and sitting in the past and thinking about everything that's happened to you and your entire life, and that's all you're stuck on, you can't. There's no way that you can have both at the same time. You can't be focused and fully living into and striving for and pressing forward towards the future if your mind is constantly trapped in this past, everything that's holding you back and keeping you in that previous season. You can't do both. And I think the way that Paul writes it is just so beautiful because we have to forget. It's there's no ambiguity there. It's just forget it. Don't think about it. Obviously the memories, some can never go away. They'll be with us forever. But just the wording there of just forget it is don't let it dwell in your mind all the time. Don't think about it all the time. Every time that thought comes in and wants to drag you back, acknowledge that, it's coming in, it's trying to bring you back to where you were, but don't let it stay there. You have the power and you have the control to take captive of your thoughts. You have the strength over them. So it's just a beautiful way to phrase it, and I think it's very encouraging. Obviously a lot harder to do, easier said than done, but just a powerful scripture for me whenever I'm in those seasons of, kind of dealing with something that's dragging me back or holding me back, or maybe it's an anniversary of a death of a loved one, or, 5 years since X, Y, and Z happened, and it's a big day or big week or big month, and it's those thoughts will really be bombarding you. And so I understand that we're human, but at the same time, we do have strength to control our thoughts and take captive the ones that we don't want to focus on and lean into. So when we forget those, we can move past them and strive forward to the future. So that's scripture one. Then just flipping over to Isaiah 43 for the second one. Again, I'll go ahead and I'll throw it up on the screen here for you guys to read as well. So this is Isaiah 43 verse 18. This is God speaking through the prophet Isaiah. He says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." And very similar language as Paul was using, but this one is even more powerful to me because it emphasizes and it kind of shows we're missing things if we're dwelling and stuck on the past, like we're not able to focus on the things that God is doing today and currently, and like lining things up for our future. Like he says, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Like, can you not see? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Like, if we're stuck on our past, it just clouds our vision. Like, it makes it harder for us to see the things that God is doing currently and trying to move us into, like a new chapter, a new season, something more special for us that he's trying to walk us into. But if you're literally stuck, standing firm and staying 10 toes on what happened to us in the past or who we were in a previous season or what life has done to us, like if we just stay there, so many doors that are open in front of us, like we might not even be able to see it. Like it could literally be wide open right in front of us. But we're not willing to like step through or even like try and look past it, right? Because it's literally like we're blinded, like it's just our vision is foggy and we can't see anything outside of our past. Like it's literally holding us back and it has a grip on us. And that's ultimately the enemy's goal, is to like hold us in that previous season. So that, oh no, you can't change, you can't do better. This is your family's history. This is what you did as a kid. This is who you'll always be, right? That's what the enemy tries to do to us. He'll try to get us trapped into that. And then we start thinking to ourselves like, yeah, you're right. Like, man, it is my family. That's just our generational thing. Like, that's how my dad was. That's how my brother is. That's how the city is. Like, it was just the community I grew up in. You know, that's just what it is. We're all this way. Like, we just kind of have blanket statements and things that'll just try and make us feel like it makes sense. Like, yeah, it is who I am. I am stuck this way. There's nothing that can change. But like, what are we missing out on, family? Like, come on, man. To see, I am doing a new thing. I'm making a way in the wilderness. It streams in the wasteland. Just ask you guys to kind of reflect on that in any way you can. You know, it's an ongoing process for me. As I mentioned, I'm nowhere near perfect. This is something I continue to learn and reflect on all the time. Like, what is holding me back? What are certain things from the past that, you know, I maybe have to work through before I forget them? I have to kind of overcome some of these things that have been holding me back, but ultimately just forget them. Like, move past this stuff. I guess who I was, it's not who I am or who I'm going to be. And the same thing is true for you. You can overcome this. Like, every day is a new day. Certain things happened. Yes, certain people will always associate you with who you used to be, and it might be hard for them to see like a new thing is happening in your life. And other people's perspectives is always going to be like that. But ultimately, like, God knows us. God knows the beginning and the end. He wants us to follow the past. Like, as we lean and get closer to God, He'll make our paths straight. He'll guide us and direct us. And He genuinely wants what's best for us. But we end up blocking our blessings all the time. Like, we get in our own way. Because instead of forgetting the past, we hold on to it. We think about it all the time. It's at our front of our mind, and it just traps us. So ultimately, I know this can be a challenging internal dialogue. This can be difficult. If you need some extra love and support trying to work through this, you know, just leave me a comment. I'll be happy to, you know, connect and do whatever I can to be a resource, a listening ear, just some encouragement. I could pray for you guys from afar, you know, whatever I can do to be a light for y'all. But ultimately, I just know that we all got better things in store for us. God is making a way for you in the wilderness. That He is creating streams and just beautiful new creation in front of our eyes, and we just have to be able to walk into it. And that's a deep desire in my heart for you. You know, I want everybody to live the best life they can. And this is just kind of another tool to have in our tool belt in terms of a way to do that. You know, just forgetting things of the past, not dwelling on them and sitting on them and letting those previous things control our lives and our future, right? We can choose to have different thoughts, different mindsets, different approaches, and also just some hope for a future that's going to be better. But that's all I got for today. I love you guys. I appreciate you watching. And until next time, peace.